Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Pulp Crazy. In this week's episode we will be discussing The Apparition and the Prize Ring by Robert E. Howard. Though originally published as The Apparition and the Prize Ring in the April 1929 issue of Ghost Stories magazine, this tale is more commonly known as The Spirit of Tom Molyneaux. I'm not sure whether to call this a boxing story with supernatural elements or a supernatural story set in the boxing world. I am leaning on the former, though. This may be due to Howard's amazing ability to write boxing scenes. I knew he was a master of action, thanks to reading his Conan, Solomon Kane, and Call tales, but he has a real talent for writing boxing fiction. It almost reads like a detailed blow-for-blow of the action that would appear in the newspaper the next day after a big fight, except with more detail. I was also surprised to see that the main character of this story was black. I guess it shouldn't have been that big of a surprise. Heavyweight champion Jack Johnson was well established at this time, as well as light heavyweight French boxer Battling Siki, who passed away a few years before this was published. I think Battling Siki may have been a bit of inspiration for the main antagonist in this tale as well. The plot revolves around a talented boxer named Ace Jessel. He is a tall and lean man that fights with courage in the ring. He lacks the killer instinct others have, but he has the boxing skills to make up for it. His idol is real-life boxer, the late Tom Molyneaux. Tom Molyneaux was a freed slave who became a renowned boxer in the U.S. and Europe. Ace saved up enough to buy a life-size portrait of Tom, and he could sometimes be heard carrying on a conversation with it. Ace is in line for the world title until a wrecking ball named Man-Killer Gomez steps into the picture. Gomez's real name is Belonga Guma. He is a stocky Senegalese from the west coast of Africa. Before Ace and his manager, who is also the narrator, can come to an agreement with the champ's manager, Gomez defeats the champion in the ring. Gomez fiercely plows his way through the challengers, before Ace is the only one remaining. Ace courageously meets Gomez in the squared circle for the title, in a brutal fight that is described near blow for blow by Robert E. Howard. The contrasted styles of Ace and Gomez is the classic boxer versus fighter scenario, but Howard's energetic and ferocious wordplay brings it to a whole new level. I first read this a few years ago in the Horror Stories of Robert E. Howard collection that Del Rey put out, and I recently reread this in Fists of Iron, Round 1, the boxing fiction of Robert E. Howard, published by Robert E. Howard Foundation Press. I am just as impressed my second time through. Howard is remarkably good at writing two things: action scenes and supernatural tales. This is a great blend of both, but his fisticuff descriptions are the focus of this story in my eyes. While the supernatural elements are kind of a side note, they're still pretty cool. I haven't read a story in the Del Rey Horror Stories collection that I didn't like, and I am really looking forward to reading more boxing tales in these rounds from the Robert E. Howard Foundation. If you are gun-shy about picking up either book, fear not. This story is out there on the web for you to browse. If you like it, I encourage you to pick up some Howard tales from either Del Rey or the Robert E. Howard Foundation. Thanks for watching. I will put a link in the show notes to a website where you could read this story, And I will also link to articles and different pages that are devoted to the historical figures that are discussed in this episode. In addition, I will link to artist Greg Staples' website. He drew that amazing image in the Del Rey Horror Stories collection that depicts the fight. I used it on the title card. Thank you again for watching. You can find me at pulpcrazy.com. I'm at pulpcrazy on Twitter. I'm Facebook/pulpcrazy. You can also email me, pulpcrazy@gmail.com. Until next time.